Our Experience in Crops by Harriet Beecher Stowe, published in 1873 in her collected stories Palmetto Leaves, about tourism and settling in Florida. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Our Experience in Crops. A few years ago, 3 brothers, farmers from Vermont, exhausted by the long, hard winters there, came to Florida to try an experiment. They bought 275 acres in the vicinity of Mandarin at $1 per acre. It was pine land that had been cut over twice for timber and was now considered of no further value by its possessor, who threw it into the hands of a land agent to make what he could of it. It was the very cheapest kind of Florida land. Of this land they cleared only 35 acres. The fencing cost $200. They put up a large unplastered 2-story house with piazzas on both floors at a cost of about $1,000. The additional outlay was on 2 mules and a pair of oxen, estimated at $400. The last year they put up a sugar mill and establishment at a cost of $500. An orange grove, a vineyard, and a peach orchard are all included in the program of these operators and are all well under way. But these are later results. It is not safe to calculate on an orange grove under 10 years, or on a vineyard or peach orchard under 4 or 5. We have permission to copy verbatim certain memoranda of results with which they have furnished us. Cabbages. First year, sowed seed in light sandy soil without manure, weak plants beaten down by rain, lost. Second year, put out 1.5 acres of fine plants, large part turned out poorly. Part of the land was low, sour, and wet, and all meagerly fertilized. Crops sold in Jacksonville for $250. Third year, 3 acres better, but still inadequately manured, and half ruined by the Christmas frost, brought about $800. Fourth year, 1871 through 72, 2 acres better manured, planted in lowland on ridges 5 feet apart, returned $600. In favorable seasons, with good culture, 1 acre of cabbages should yield a gross return of $500, of which $300 would be clear profit. Cucumbers. First year, planted 4 acres, mostly new, hard, sour land, broadcasting 50 bushels of lime to the acre, and using some weak, half-rotted compost in the hills. Wretched crop. The whole lot sent north. Did not pay for shipment. Second year, 1.5 acres best land, heavily manured with well-rotted compost, worked in different drills 8 feet apart, yielded 50 bushels, which brought $250 in New York. More would have been realized except that an untimely hailstorm spoiled the vines prematurely. Third year, 1.5 acres, well cultivated and manured, yielded 400 bushels and brought a gross return of $1,300. Tomatoes. First year, lost many plants through rain and wet and insufficient manure. Those we got to the New York market brought from $4 to $6 per bushel. Second year, manured too heavily in the hill with powerful unfermented manures. A heavy rain helped ruin the crop. Those, however, which we sent to market brought good prices. Third year, none planted for market, but those for family use did so well as to put us in a good humor with the crop and induce us to plant for this year. Sweet potatoes. Every year we have had pretty good success with them on land well prepared with lime and ashes. We have had 350 bushels to the acre. Sugar cane has done very respectably on 1-year-old soil, manured with ashes only, while mellow land, well prepared with muck, ashes, and fish guano, has yielded about 20 barrels of sugar to the acre. Irish potatoes. We have found these on light soil with only moderate fertilizing, an unprofitable crop at $4, but on good land with very heavy manuring, decidedly profitable at $2 per bushel. Fine potatoes rarely are less than that in Jacksonville. They will be ready to dig in April and May. Peas may be extraordinarily profitable and may fail entirely. A mild winter without severe frosts would bring them early into market. The Christmas freeze of 1870 caught a half-acre of our peas in blossom and killed them to the ground. Planted in the latter part of January, both peas and potatoes are pretty sure. We have done not much with peas, but a neighbor of ours prefers them to cabbages. He gets about $3 per bushel. As a general summary, our friend adds, quote, "For 2 years in succession, we have found our leading market crops handsomely remunerative. The net returns look well compared with those of successful gardening near New York. Cabbages raised here during the fall and winter, without any protection, bear as good price as do the spring cabbages, which are raised in cold frames at the North, and early cucumbers grown in the open air have been worth as much to us as northern gardeners who have grown them in hotbeds. The secret of our success is an open one, but we ourselves do not yet come up to our mark and reduce our preaching to practice. We have hardly made a good beginning in high manuring. We did not understand at first, as we do now, the difference between ordinary crops and early vegetables and fruit. Good corn may be raised on poor land at the rate of 5 to 10 bushels an acre, but on 100 acres of scantily fertilized land, scarcely a single handsome cabbage can be grown. So with cucumbers, they will neither be early nor fit for market if raised on ordinary land with ordinary culture. Most of the market gardening in Florida, so far as we know, it cannot but prove disastrous. Land agents and visionaries hold forth that great crops may be expected from insignificant outlays, and so they decoy the credulous to their ruin. To undertake raising vegetables in Florida with these ideas of low culture is to embark in a leaky and surely sinking ship. If one is unwilling to expend for manure alone upon a single acre in 1 year enough to buy 100 acres of new land, let him give a wide berth to market gardening. Such expenditures have to be met at the North, and there is no getting round it at the South. Yet one can economize here as one cannot in the North. The whole culture of an early vegetable garden can go on in connection with the later crop of sugarcane. Before our cabbages were off the ground this spring, we had our cane rows between them, and we never before prepared the ground and planted the cane so easily. On another field we have the cane rows 8 feet apart, the tomatoes and snap beans intervening. We have suffered much for lack of proper drainage. We have actually lost enough from water standing upon crops to have underdrained the whole enclosure. We undertook to till more acres than we could do justice to. In farming, the love of acres is the root of all evil." End quote. So much for our friend's experiences. We consider this experiment a most valuable one for all who contemplate buying land and settling in Florida. It is an experiment in which untiring industry, patience, and economy have been brought into exercise. It has been tried on the very cheapest land in Florida, and its results are most instructive. Market gardening must be the immediate source of support, and therefore this experiment is exactly the point. This will show that the land is the least of the expense in starting a farm, and that it is best in the first instance to spend little for land and much for the culture of it. Thousands of people pour down into Florida to winter and must be fed. The Jacksonville market and the markets of all the different boarding establishments on the river need ample supplies, and there is no fear that there will not be a ready sale for all that could be raised. Our friends are willing to make a free contribution of their own failures and mistakes for the good of those who come after. It shows that a new country must be studied and tried before success is attained. Newcomers, by settling in the vicinity of successful planters, may shorten the painful paths of experience. All which we commend to all those who have written to inquire about buying land in Florida. End of Our Experience in Crops by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Read for you by Michelle Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in August 2021.